Hello, welcome once again to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is a kind of a revised version of a true classic on the Chef Knives to Go site. So this is the Kanehiro Aogami Super, or AS Gyuto 240mm knife. I've labeled the product key, which is D-506KY. This is the KY is the new on it. So this is a second gen or revised version, an updated version with a few changes to it. We'll take a look at that. The construction on these is 3 layers. The center hardcore cutting edge steel is Aogami Blue Paper Super Reactive High Carbon Steel. Heat treats in the 62-63 range for that in Rockwell. The construction is a soft stainless, soft stainless cladding on either side of that hardcore reactive steel. So the steel is reactive. It needs to be taken care of and kept dry at the edge. The cladding does cover the spine, so that kind of lowers the maintenance a little bit, but this has been a classic and a staple on the Chef Knives to Go site for professionals and home users alike for a number of years, and for a great reason. This is an awesome knife. The weight and dimensions on these are going to vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 195 grams or 6.9 ounces. Edge length is about 9.5 inches or 242 millimeters, right on the money. And the overall length is a little under 400 millimeters, around 15.6 inches. Spine thickness, again, will vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one I measured about 3.2 millimeters above the back of the heel, and then about halfway down I measured about 2.4. And you'll see we don't have a lot of taper, but it starts to get a little thinner and a lot thinner when we hit the grind. And the grind is pretty high on these, you can see that, and it's a generous grind, especially towards the tip. So we get nice and thin towards that tip. So this tip will just work great through products like onions and such. And these are also thin at the edge. So these are high performance knives with some meat to them and some stiffness to the blade and some muscle. So it's a great combination of muscle and finesse, and also power and just cutting performance. They're pretty stiff blades, especially at the back half, the back 2/3 really, and just a lot of confident feel on the board. 52 millimeters is the height of this one at the back of the blade, so it's quite tall. And the handles are octagonal. This is one of the upgrades, is the handles. They're octagonal maple with a kind of a brownish black pack-a-wood ferrule on them, and good tight glue up on the 2 samples I've had. So that's one of the upgrades, is the handles. These handles do appear to have a little bit of a step between the ferrule and the maple. At least the 2 I've handled. You could get some variations on that, but nice warm kind of look and feel to them. Circumference is about 73 millimeters where the 2 woods meet, or about 2.9 inches. And then one of the big changes they've made, the old style version of this had a pretty squared off transition with a small radius from the choil, the back of the blade, into the neck. These have a much more rounded character to them, and the neck's fairly thin, so you got a good spot there for your finger for a pinch grip. Speaking of that, the balance point, it's going to be fairly far forward with these because it's a big blade, handle's fairly light, and there's your balance point. So for me, my pinch grip is a little bit back here. So what that's going to do is give you, probably the average person with a pinch grip, it's going to give you a weight forward balance bias to it, and it's going to feel like you've got a piece of steel in your hand. Definitely has some muscle to it and some cutting power to it. Great feel on the board for these. Again, performance is just excellent. These are straight. The grinds are clean. Out of the box edge is a good 6, maybe 7 out of 10. It's got a nicely crafted edge bevel to them. Real pretty knife. Let's take a look at our beauty shot here. See if we can get a good version. That's a good shot right there. So what you're seeing here is the engraved kanji. You've got what's called the nishiji, or pear skin finish on these, and you've got the transition from the grind down towards the edge, and there's your core steel peeking out from the cladding, and there's your shiny edge bevel, cutting edge right there. So this is the left side of the blade. One of the other big changes they've made on this is the kanji. So it is laser engraved. I'll be honest though, when I first looked at it, I had to really get almost a magnified close-up look at it to check it out. It really looked like normal engraving from the average perspective. It's got a little bit of raised character to it, not as much as full-on hand chiseling or hand engraving, but They've done a really nice job on this. Unless you're really super picky about that, the average view on it, the average person seeing it, it's going to think it looks pretty awesome. So, you know, everybody's got their opinion about hand engraving versus something like this, which is laser engraved. But I think it's got a pretty authentic look to it, unless you really get up close. So here is that mottled finish. It's a kind of a smooth pear skin, or again, Nishiji finish on these. It's really kind of a just nice character, helps hide scratches and such on it. They've done a good job on the fit and finish on these. It's got a bit of a polish to the spine, and the corners are rounded a little. They've done a really nice job rounding off and finishing, and got a semi-polish on the choil into the neck, so really comfortable, nice and sharp out of the box. Again, very straight. These are awesome prep knives in a pro environment. These things are beasts if you're looking for a great prep knife. Knock out some volume. You've got that AS steel that holds a great edge, and just a great package for a pro kitchen, or of course a home kitchen. Here is your profile. These will vary just a little bit from knife to knife, but this is kind of characteristic of their style. So you've got a bit of a flattish spot towards the back third of the blade that flows into a kind of a gentle stop at the heel on this particular knife. And then you've got gentle belly, and the tip on this one, I'm getting up in there before I want to start digging the tip in. So you can get pretty high for a nice rock on these, push-pull cuts, glide cuts, a little bit of tip. You can do some tip draws too, although they'll be a little bit higher on the heel for that, but nice flattish section at the back. So really just kind of a good all-around, very versatile edge profile on these. So there's really not much, really nothing not to like about these. So a few changes again in summary. Different handle. They've got the curved, much more wide radius curve from the choil into the neck, and then you've got the laser engraved kanji on the left side of the blade. So that's the new upgraded package. So this is the Kanehiro Aogami Super AS Gyuto 240mm D-506KY. This is the new generation or new version from Chef Knives to Go.